Hi everyone. Are you ready for another Zentangle Quickie? Well, I'm going to guess you are since you clicked on the video. I'm Heather Hartwick Gladden, Certified Zentangle Teacher, and today we are going to take a look at quilts. And as you can see, I'm going to work on a bijou tile, and the bijou tile is about 2 by 2-ish. Yep, just put it on my little measuring thing here. All right, quilts is so much fun, and you're just going to love it. All right, I am going to start off with my 4 corner dots. And you know what, my 4 corner dots, but I'm not gonna do anything in pencil because this is essentially a mono tangle. We're just doing the one tangle on here. It's a great habit that I have of doing the 4 corner dots. But I'm gonna create the border with my pen. Normally, of course, you would do this. You're working on maybe a larger on a tile, and you're gonna have multiple areas that you're going to fill in with the tangle. Or could be, the neat thing about Zentangle is it's all up to you and how you feel creatively at the moment. All right, so this one is a grid tangle. So we're going to start off, and in this, I'm just going to make this a 4 square. If I was working on, a larger tile or a larger, like in a sketchbook or something, I would probably do more. But this way, this is a quickie video, so to show you how to do it. So this helps fulfill the purpose. Anyway, once you have your grid, we're going to make diagonal lines through your grid. Now, one trick that I have found with doing diagonals in a grid is kind of stop at each intersection. So you're starting at one, right? You're starting in the corner, go to the intersection, kind of pause, go to your next intersection, and have your eyes, I don't want to go that way, have your eyes just traveling, and focusing on intersection to intersection. And I do like to turn my tile so that way I'm not, reaching over the entire tile. So now that we have it one direction, we are gonna flip it and go the opposite direction. And I like to start, if this was a bigger tile, you would see more on some of my other videos. You'll see when we're doing a grid pattern, I like to start in the middle and work my way out. It helps. For me, it just helps me to not have what I'm doing look contrived. And that is the best way I found to do that. So again, intersection to intersection, just focusing on that will help. All right, so now that you have this, our next step is we're going to focus in. So you still have your 4 squares now with an X in each one. We're going to cross these ones, but we're going to, and actually I think, so there's 2 ways you can do this. You can either, do these next 2 steps all in, together or separate. I'm just going to separate it just because. So looking at, so we have essentially 4 triangles in the square. I'm going to the left one, putting my pen down in the middle of this triangle, going through the intersection and about to the middle of the next one. So again, we're going kind of middle through the intersection to the middle in each box. And then turn the tile, same idea, the other direction, middle of that triangle. One thing I did not share is the part of the reason I go intersection to intersection is because this is pen and ink. We're not using grid paper. We're not using rulers. It's freehand. And going intersection to intersection helps with if your grid gets a little bit wonky. It helps with it being, making it a little forgiving by doing that intersection to intersection. All right, so now that we have this, this one is beautiful because it's just straight lines. And it's a matter of following the step out, and it's just amazing. All right, so looking at it square on, we're going to do, we're going to work kind of kitty corner with the ends of these crosses. Excuse me. So looking at the first box. So I'm using the top of this cross, so that top point, and taking a straight line into that corner. And then this middle one to the right going to that same corner. Now this is another one too, and I think in my step out I have it, and I'll just do it here. I have it doing each box all at once. I normally would, I was like, oh, I should have turned that tile for that. You can do it either way. So you can do it all in one, or you can just focus on, okay, I'm just doing this one direction, from here to here. And I share that because we all think differently and work differently. My camera kind of messed up here, and so I'm picking up where we went off. So finishing up all of these ends. All right, now we've done the diagonal this way, and now we're going to do the other way. So sometimes this is a little bit harder to see because we've already connected this corner to this end to this corner. So we want to connect this corner to these ends. So it's essentially the same stroke, just on the I guess you could call that empty ends here. So same idea, taking the ends of that cross, and I'm going to just do each box, because sometimes I find that easier, as I said. And this is where the pattern starts popping, which is so neat. That's also sometimes why I end up doing the steps in each box, especially like this, where, I'm just going, diagonal, and you don't have to flip the tile too much. But I just find sometimes when you have a pattern like this where the pattern starts popping out as you're drawing, which is so fun, that sometimes it's easier just to complete that box and not get lost in it, get mixed up. So there is our completed unshaded pattern. So neat. So neat. So talking about shading, we can do this a couple of different ways. One is we could shade, and I actually say this, you could shade or color, up to you. I'm just going to put in between these stars, and I'm kind of being a little bit sloppy because I'm going to use the tortillon to smudge it out. And this is almost more of, coloring than shading. Which, speaking of, you could, of course, add color if you like. In the Zentangle method, we focus on black, white, and gray. Gray meaning the graphite and the tortillon, just to make it simple for that meditative aspect. But you could certainly add color. Then we end up calling that Zentangle inspired art. But you can do anything you want because it's your art. So there's one way, just shading it. Heck, you could even, see, and my eyes are still bouncing in between that. You could, add even some darker, in the center, and, kind of buff that out a little bit, and even, could do on those corners, things like that. Now, another idea is if you wanted to accentuate, say, this big star in the middle, and I'm going to do my best here because my eyes keep popping back and forth between the patterns. And I'm essentially outlining the big star or big crystal pattern that I see here. Yeah. And so you can have fun with that. And so I'm going to take the tortillon and and I'm bringing it out into, you know, the outside of the pattern, so that way this then just becomes so much brighter and so neat. And while I'm just using, oh, I didn't get that very well, I'm just using graphite, it's really fun to work with a chalk, you know, chalk pencils, chalk pastel pencil, just super neat. Oh, I got a little inside there, but you get the idea. And what I think is just so fascinating is how all of a sudden this looks way brighter than the rest. And all I did was, you know, add the graphite around the outside of that. You know, and that's something too, you know, if whatever pattern you see, the challenge is that if you're doing it in a larger thing, let me show you. So this is one that I had done earlier, quite some time. Actually, this was from one of the Tangle Times that we did a while ago. And this is where I do, you know, kind of a curvy outside, and then I work so that way the pattern is essentially being drawn underneath the border. But this one I decided I'm just going to add some gold and some silver, and I just colored in that one pattern, just one out of all of them. So that's, you know, when you have a bigger space and you have more of them, then you have to decide, well, you know, what are you wanting to accentuate? And it's just a whole lot of fun, all of the options that we have with this amazing tangle. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Happy tangling.